Por y para in Espanol both mean for, but they have other meanings depending on the usage in a sentence. It's a common question to ask, when do I use por, when do I use para in any given situation? So let's see if we can clear that up for you in this lesson. Por is used not only for, both words are used to mean for. They may also mean through or during. So let's look at what por might most generally be used for. Por can be used to mean through, to express motive, an exchange of one thing for another, and a span of time. Whereas para can be used to express destination, purpose, in order to be able to do something, and an end point of time. So let's look at some examples. Through, camino por el parque, I walk through the park. Por as a motive. Bob lo hace por mí. Bob does this work on my behalf. Por mí. Exchange. Te doy $1 por dos. I will give you $1 in exchange for $2. Por. A span of time. During, for example. Sue estudia por 3 horas. Sue studies for 3 hours. These are 4 specific examples when you use por. Camino por el parque. Bob lo hace por mí. Te doy $1 por dos. Sue estudia por 3 horas. Let's look at para. Destination. One example is to, a destination. Camino para el parque. I'm on my way to the park, as opposed to camino por el parque. I walk through the park. We're saying camino para el parque. The park is my destination. I'm heading there. A purpose. Bob lo hace para mí. He did it for me. He did it for my benefit, as opposed to Bob lo hace por mí. He did it on my behalf, por. He did it for my benefit, para. In order to, or with the purpose of, Bob habla para comunicar. Bob is speaking with the end purpose of communicating. An end point in time. La tarea es para viernes. It is due by. That's the end date. So we have a couple sentences here that if you just change either the por or the para, you're completely changing what you're communicating. And some others, you would not use para or por in that situation. You have to use the correct one given that situation. Camino por el parque versus camino para el parque. Bob lo hace por mí as opposed to Bob lo hace para mí. These are situations in which you would use either por or para to communicate for, as well as a series of other things. It will serve us well to learn a few idiomatic expressions in which por or para are used. Por is used a lot in a whole series of expressions. For example, por ejemplo, for example. Por lo menos, at least. Por eso, that's why, for that reason. Gracias por, thank you for. Thank you for everything, gracias por todo. Me preocupo por, I'm worried about. Me preocupo por ti. I'm worried about you. Added to this list would be por favor. For favor. Por favor, please. So many idiomatic expressions are going to use por. As you learn them, you'll be able to use them quickly without having to think, oh, is this por or para? When am I supposed to use this? No, in these idiomatic expressions, just learn the expression and it'll become natural for you to use it. Para is used in a couple of expressions. No es para tanto could be translated, it's not that bad. It could be better, it could be worse, it's not that bad. No es para tanto. Para siempre is forever. Those are 2 examples of using para. The vast majority of the idiomatic expressions are going to use por. Por ejemplo, por lo menos, por eso, gracias por todo, me preocupo por ti, por favor. One last example with para is para que sepas. It's a great expression to know. It means so that you know. It's FYI in English, for your information. Para que sepas. I'm telling you this for your information, so that you will know. Para que sepas in English is FYI. And that's our lesson for the day. It's a short lesson. What are the differences between the use of por y para? They're both used in specific idiomatic expressions. And por, in particular, is used to express through, motive, exchange, and a span of time, whereas para is used to express destination, purpose, in order to, and an end point in time. Por y para.